The morning sky over New York looked normal until the shadows came. Admiral Tae-ho Kim was drinking his coffee in the United Nations building when the first reports arrived. His phone buzzed with messages from military bases around the world. All of them said the same thing. Huge ships were coming down from space. Tae-ho ran to the window and looked up. The sky was getting darker, even though it was only 10 in the morning. Something massive was blocking the sun. He could see the outline of a ship so big it covered several city blocks. The metal hull was smooth and black, unlike anything humans had ever built. Dr. So-Young Park was in her lab when the alarm started ringing. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, even though no one had ever found any aliens before. Now it seemed like the aliens had found them instead. Her computer screen lit up with incoming signals from space. The patterns were complex and clearly made by intelligent beings. So-Young's hands shook as she worked to decode the messages. The signals were strong and came from 30 different locations around Earth. 30 ships had arrived at the same time. This was not an accident. This was planned. Commander Ji-Woo Lee was at the Earth Defense Force headquarters when everything changed. The big screens on the wall showed feeds from cameras all over the planet. Giant ships hung in the sky, above New York, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Moscow, and 25 other major cities. Each ship was at least 2 miles long and half a mile wide. Ji-Woo had trained for this moment his whole life, but seeing it happen felt like a bad dream. The ships just floated there, silent and threatening. No weapons were firing yet, but everyone knew this was not a friendly visit. President Hyun-woo Choi was in an emergency meeting when the first real message came through. Dr. So-Young Park had managed to translate part of the alien signal. The voice that came through the speakers was cold and mechanical. "Humans of Earth," the voice said. "We are the Velkari Empire. We have conquered 17 star systems. Your species has broken our laws by building colonies in the Kepler system. This is an act of war against our empire." The room fell silent. Everyone knew about the Kepler colonies, 3 small settlements with a few thousand people each. They were humanity's first attempt to live on planets outside the solar system. Now it seemed like those colonies had made some very powerful enemies angry. The alien voice continued. "You have 72 of your hours to surrender completely. All human colonies will be destroyed. Your people will be moved to areas we choose. You will work for the Velkari Empire. If you refuse, we will take your planet by force." Hyun-woo looked around the table at his advisors. Some looked scared, others looked angry. Admiral Tae-ho Kim looked calm, which worried the president more than anything else. The admiral only looked calm when he was planning something dangerous. "What do we know about their military strength?" Hyun-woo asked. General Sang-min Park opened a folder full of photos taken by telescopes. "The ships are huge, but we can only guess what weapons they have. Our best estimate is that each ship could destroy several cities if they wanted to." "And our defenses?" "Publicly, we have nothing that could stop them," Admiral Tae-ho said carefully. "Our missiles might damage one ship, but we would need hundreds of hits to bring one down. They have 30 ships. Dr. So-Young Park leaned forward. "I've been studying their signals. They seem confident that we will surrender quickly. Their language patterns suggest they have done this many times before." The alien voice spoke again. "To show our strength, we will demonstrate our weapons on 3 of your military bases. Consider this a small taste of what happens if you refuse our generous offer." 3 bright beams came down from 3 different ships. The beams hit military bases in Australia, Canada, and Brazil. The bases simply disappeared, leaving only glass craters where buildings used to be. The demonstration lasted 30 seconds. 3,000 soldiers died in those 30 seconds. President Hyun-woo Choi stood up slowly. His face was pale, but his voice was steady. "Get me a connection to every TV station and radio network on Earth. I want to speak to everyone." 1 hour later, Hyun-woo appeared on screens around the world. Behind him stood the flags of every nation on Earth. His words were simple, but strong. "My fellow humans," he began. "Today we face our greatest challenge. Aliens from space have come to our world. They want us to become their slaves. They want to destroy our colonies and control our lives. They think we are weak because our technology seems less advanced than theirs. He paused and looked directly into the camera. They are wrong. Humanity has survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and disasters. We have fought our way to the top of the food chain on a planet that tried to kill us every day. We have split atoms and touched the surface of other worlds. We are not weak, and we are not slaves. The president's voice grew stronger. We have faced extinction before and we survived. We will face it again today and we will survive again. We will not bow to tyranny, no matter how big their ships are or how advanced their weapons seem to be. Around the world, people watched their leader speak. Some were scared, but many felt a spark of hope. Humans had always been fighters. It was what made them human. To the Velkari Empire, Hyunwoo said, looking up at the sky, "We reject your demands. Earth is our home, and we will defend it. You may have conquered 17 other star systems, but you have never conquered a world full of humans. Today you will learn why." The broadcast ended, and the world waited. In space, the alien ships began to move into attack positions. On Earth, hidden systems that most people did not know existed started to power up. The war was about to begin, but neither side knew how quickly it would end. Admiral Tae-ho Kim smiled for the first time that day. The aliens had made one very big mistake. They thought they were attacking a primitive planet. They had no idea what humanity had been building, in secret for the past 50 years. High Commander Zektai stood on the bridge of his flagship and looked down at the blue planet below. Earth was a pretty world, much nicer than most planets the Velkari Empire had conquered. The humans seemed to care about keeping their world clean and green. That would make them good workers once they learned to obey. The reports from his intelligence officers made him confident this would be easy. Human technology was hundreds of years behind Velkari science. Their fastest spaceships could barely leave their own solar system. Their weapons were simple chemical explosives and basic energy beams. The conquest would be over in a few days. "Commander," his weapons officer reported, "the humans have rejected our surrender demand." Zektai was not surprised. Most species tried to resist at first. They usually gave up after seeing a few cities destroyed. Begin orbital bombardment of their largest military installations. Start with their space defense platforms. Down on Earth, General Sang-min Park was not in his regular office. He was 300 feet underground in a bunker that did not appear on any public maps. The bunker was part of a network of secret facilities built over 50 years. Most people, even high-ranking government officials, did not know these places existed. "Sir," his aide reported, "the aliens are targeting our known military bases." Sang-min nodded. This was exactly what they had planned for. Activate Protocol 7. Send the authorization codes to all hidden installations. It's time to show them what we really have. Around the world, secret doors opened in mountains, deserts, and forests. Facilities that looked like ordinary buildings revealed themselves to be advanced weapons platforms. Underground bases that were supposed to be mining operations activated defense systems that had been waiting decades for this moment. Captain Da-Yun Kim received her orders while sitting in the pilot seat of the Soul's Pride. Her ship was unlike anything the public had ever seen. It was sleek, black, and completely invisible to most scanning systems. The technology that made it possible had been developed in secret laboratories hidden beneath major cities. "Captain," her weapons officer said, "we have a target. The alien cruiser over Tokyo. It's beginning bombardment of the city." Da-eun looked at her crew. They were all young, all volunteers, and all ready to die if necessary. This is what we trained for. Make our ancestors proud. The Soul's Pride had been built using technology that most humans did not know existed. Its engines could fold space and time, allowing it to appear anywhere instantly. Its weapons were designed to work in ways that alien shields were not prepared for. Dr. Min Ho Jung worked frantically in his laboratory deep beneath Seoul. For 20 years, he had been studying the nature of reality itself. His research into dimensional physics had been purely theoretical until today. Now the government wanted him to turn his theories into weapons. The prototype device on his workbench looked simple. It was a metal cylinder about the size of a baseball bat. Inside it, forces that could bend space and time waited to be released. If his calculations were correct, this single device could destroy an entire alien ship. Dr. Jung, his assistant, called out, "The military wants to know if the weapon is ready for field testing." Min Ho looked at his equations one more time. The math was perfect, but math and reality were sometimes different things. "Yes," he said, "it's ready. God help us all." Above ground, the alien bombardment had begun. Bright beams came down from space and hit military bases around the world. The bases exploded in balls of fire, just as the aliens expected. What they did not see were the other installations that remained hidden. Commander Jiwoo Lee watched the alien attack from his command center. The center was built inside a hollowed-out mountain in Colorado. From here, he could coordinate the defense of the entire planet using systems the aliens could not detect. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "all stealth units are in position. Hidden weapons platforms are online. The enemy still has no idea what we're really capable of." Jiwoo smiled grimly. Humanity had learned important lessons from its own history. The best way to win a war was to let your enemy think they were winning until it was too late for them to escape. High Commander Zektai watched his forces destroy several human military bases. The bombardment was going exactly as planned. Soon, the humans would realize they could not resist and would surrender. This conquest was proceeding faster than most. "Commander," his sensor operator called out, "I'm detecting some unusual energy readings from the planet's surface." "What kind of readings?" "Unknown, sir. The signatures don't match any technology in our databases." Zektai frowned. This was unusual, but not alarming. Primitive species sometimes had technology that worked in unexpected ways. "Continue bombardment. Prepare ground forces for landing operations." Captain Da-Yun Kim gave the order her crew had been waiting for. "Activate phase drive. Target coordinates locked in. Take us inside their shields." The Soul's Pride disappeared from normal space and reappeared inside the alien cruiser's defensive perimeter. The ship's hull was directly in front of them, close enough to touch. The aliens had never seen this kind of technology before. "Fire quantum torpedoes," Da-Yun ordered. The weapons that launched from her ship were unlike anything used in space warfare before. They existed in multiple dimensions at the same time, allowing them to pass through energy shields as if the shields were not there. When they hit the alien hull, they exploded both in normal space and in dimensional space. The Valkyrie cruiser shook violently as holes appeared in its hull. Alarms rang throughout the ship as atmosphere rushed out into space. The aliens inside ran for emergency stations, trying to understand what had hit them. "Impossible," Zektai said, staring at the reports coming from the damaged ship. "Their technology is primitive. How did they penetrate our shields?" Dr. So-Young Park had been listening to alien communications since the attack began. Using advanced computers, she was slowly learning to understand their language. What she heard made her both excited and terrified. "They're confused," she reported to the command center. "They keep saying our attacks are impossible according to their knowledge of human technology." "What does that tell us?" Admiral Tae-ho Kim asked. "It tells us they've been watching us for a long time, but they've only been watching our public technology. They have no idea what we've been building in secret." Around the world, more human weapons revealed themselves. Orbital platforms that had been disguised as communication satellites suddenly began firing beams of concentrated energy. Underground missile silos opened and launched projectiles that moved too fast for alien sensors to track properly. The Valkyrie forces found themselves under attack from weapons they could not understand using technology. Their computers said was impossible. In the space of 1 hour, 3 alien ships had been severely damaged and 2 had been destroyed completely. High Commander Zektai stared at his tactical displays in disbelief. His invasion force was taking heavy losses from a species that was supposed to be helpless. The humans were fighting with weapons that should not exist. "Send a message to the homeworld," he ordered. "Request immediate reinforcements. These humans are not what they appear to be." But his message never reached the Valkyrie homeworld. Human cyber warfare specialists had been busy breaking into alien communication networks. Every message the aliens tried to send was intercepted, changed, or blocked completely. As the first day of the war ended, the situation was nothing like what either side had expected. The aliens had come to conquer a primitive world and instead found themselves fighting for their lives. The humans had prepared for this day for 50 years, and their preparations were working perfectly. The real war was just beginning. The Soul's Pride appeared inside the alien cruiser like a ghost materializing from nothing. Captain Daeun Kim watched through her view screen as the enemy ship's hull spread out before her like a metal landscape. Her crew was silent, focused, ready. Distance to target hull, 50 meters, her navigation officer reported. Perfect position, Daeun said. Fire all quantum torpedoes, full spread. The weapons that launched from her ship existed in multiple dimensions at once. They passed through the alien shields like the shields were made of air. When they hit the hull, they exploded in ways that alien engineers had never seen before. Parts of the ship simply stopped existing. Inside the Valkyrie cruiser, emergency alarms screamed. Alien crew members ran through corridors as atmosphere rushed out through holes that appeared everywhere at once. The ship's commander tried to understand what was happening, but his sensors could not explain how the weapons had penetrated their defenses. Hull breaches on all decks, the alien damage control officer reported. We've lost main power to weapon systems. The Valkyrie ship began to fall toward Earth, its engines failing one by one. Captain Daeun watched it burn up in the atmosphere and felt no satisfaction. This was just the beginning. Across the globe, humanity revealed its true face. Colonel Jae-Sung Lee led his soldiers out of hidden bunkers beneath Seoul. His men wore armor that made them look like metal giants. The suits were powered by miniature fusion reactors that gave each soldier the strength of 10 men. The suits also had other abilities. Lee's soldiers could jump between buildings, run up walls, and punch through steel doors. Their weapons fired projectiles that could pierce alien armor from miles away. Most importantly, the suits made them nearly invisible to alien sensors. Target the landing craft, Lee ordered his troops. Don't let any aliens reach the ground alive. The Valkyrie had expected to face human soldiers with simple chemical weapons. Instead, they found themselves fighting opponents who moved like ghosts and hit like hurricanes. Alien landing parties were destroyed before they could establish any footholds on Earth's surface. High Commander Zektai stared at his tactical display in horror. In 6 hours of fighting, 12 of his ships had been completely destroyed. 8 more were so badly damaged they could barely maintain orbit. His invasion force was being torn apart by weapons that should not exist. How is this possible? He demanded. Our intelligence said they were primitive. Sir, his sensor operator replied, their weapons use principles our science doesn't recognize. Some of their attacks seem to come from folded space. Others ignore our shields completely. Zektai had conquered 4 star systems personally. He had never seen anything like this. Signal all ships. Retreat to the outer system. We need time to analyze their capabilities. But retreat was not easy. Human ships appeared from nowhere and attacked the fleeing aliens. Captain Woojin Park commanded one of humanity's secret destroyer fleets. His ships had been built in hidden bases on asteroids, far from alien observation. Target their engines, Woojin ordered. Don't let them escape to warn their empire. The human destroyers were smaller than the alien ships, but much faster and harder to detect. They struck like sharks, appearing suddenly to attack and then vanishing again. Each destroyer carried enough firepower to level continents. Dr. So Young. Park listened to the alien communications and made a discovery that changed everything. The Valkyrie were not just confused by human weapons. They were terrified. Listen to this, she told Admiral Tae-ho Kim. They're calling us the demons who fight with impossible weapons. They say we use magic that breaks the laws of physics. Tae-ho smiled grimly. Good. Fear makes enemies make mistakes. The truth was that human weapons were not magic. They were the result of 50 years of secret development by the brightest minds on Earth. While the public saw rockets and missiles, military scientists had been working with dimensions, quantum physics, and forces that most people could not imagine. Dr. Min Ho Jung's dimensional weapon was being tested in London. The device had been mounted on a truck and driven to where an alien ship hung over the Thames River. When the weapon fired, space itself twisted around the alien vessel. The Valkyrie crew inside the ship felt their own gravity turn against them. Some aliens were crushed by weights that appeared from nowhere. Others found themselves falling upward as the weapon made gravity flow in impossible directions. The ship's hull buckled and twisted as space-time bent around it. Dimensional distortion successful, Minho reported. The ship is breaking apart from gravitational stress. The alien vessel fell into the Thames, its crew dead or dying. Londoners cheered from their shelters, but Minho felt sick. His equations had worked perfectly, but seeing the results made him understand the terrible power he had created. Commander Jiwoo Lee coordinated the global defense from his mountain bunker. His screens showed the battle happening all over Earth. Alien ships were falling from the sky like metal rain. Human casualties were surprisingly light. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we've intercepted alien messages calling for reinforcements from their homeworld." "Are any of those messages getting through?" "No, sir. Our cyber warfare teams have taken control of their communication networks. Any message they try to send is being replaced with false reports saying the invasion is going according to plan." This was crucial to humanity's strategy. If the Valkyrie Empire learned what was really happening, they might send a much larger fleet. Earth needed time to prepare for that possibility. The space battle continued through the night. Captain Da-Yun Kim's stealth squadron attacked alien ships one by one. Each attack was perfectly coordinated. Human ships would appear inside alien defensive perimeters, fire their weapons, and disappear before the aliens could respond. The Valkyrie had never faced an enemy that could ignore their shields and appear anywhere at will. Their formations fell apart as ships tried to protect themselves from attacks that came from every direction. By dawn, only 8 alien ships remained functional. High Commander Zektai gathered his surviving officers for an emergency meeting. The holographic images of his ship commanders showed the fear and confusion they all felt. "Report," Zektai ordered. "Sir, we've lost 22 ships," his fleet commander said. "The humans have weapons we can't defend against. Their technology is far more advanced than our intelligence indicated. That's impossible. We've been observing them for decades. Sir, I think they've been hiding their real capabilities. Everything we're seeing suggests they've been preparing for this war for a very long time." Zektai realized the terrible truth. Humanity had not been caught by surprise. They had been waiting for this attack. Every move the Valkyrie had made had been anticipated and countered. President Yun-Woo Choi addressed the world again as the second day of the war began. Behind him, the flags of Earth's nations flew proudly. The alien ships in the sky were fewer now, and many were clearly damaged. "My fellow humans," he said, "yesterday we faced the greatest threat in our history. Today we are winning. The aliens came here expecting to find sheep, but they found lions instead." Around the world, people emerged from shelters to see alien ships falling from the sky. The metal giants that had seemed so threatening 24 hours ago were now burning wrecks scattered across the landscape. "Let this be a lesson to anyone who threatens our world," Hyunwoo continued. "Humanity has survived every challenge the universe has thrown at us. We will survive this too, and we will be stronger for it." The remaining alien ships began retreating toward the edge of the solar system, but humanity's secret fleet was already moving to intercept them. Captain Woojin Park's destroyers spread out across space like a net, ready to catch any aliens who tried to escape. The war was far from over, but the tide had turned completely. The aliens who had come to conquer Earth were now running for their lives, and even that might not be enough to save them. Captain Woojin Park stood on the bridge of his destroyer as it chased the fleeing alien ships past Neptune's orbit. The Soul's Revenge was one of 30 secret warships that humanity had built in hidden asteroid bases over the past 20 years. Each ship was armed with weapons that could destroy planets. "Target the rear ship in their formation," Woojin ordered. "We can't let any of them escape to warn their empire." His orders came directly from Earth's highest military command. Every alien who had participated in the invasion must be eliminated. Humanity's true military capabilities had to remain secret until Earth was ready for the larger war that was surely coming. The destroyer's main weapon fired a beam of pure energy that cut through space like a sword. The beam hit the trailing Valkyrie ship and sliced it in half. The two pieces of the alien vessel drifted apart, atmosphere and debris streaming out into the void. One down, the weapons officer reported. 6 ships remaining. Communications specialist. Yoonji Kim sat at her station listening to the alien transmissions. Her job was to monitor everything the Valkyrie said and reported back to Earth. What she heard made her blood run cold. "Captain," she called out, "the aliens are calling for help. They're describing humans as demons from the void who fight with weapons of pure destruction. They sound terrified." The alien voices carried panic that was easy to understand even through the translation software. These were not the confident conquerors who had arrived at Earth 3 days ago. These were broken soldiers running for their lives. They keep asking their gods to protect them from the metal spirits that phase through reality. Yoonji continued, "I think they believe our stealth technology is some kind of magic." Back on Earth, Dr. Min Ho Jung examined the wreckage of alien ships that had crashed in various locations. His dimensional weapon had worked even better than his calculations predicted. The alien technology was advanced but designed for fighting enemies who followed normal physics. Their shields work by deflecting energy and matter, he explained to a meeting of Earth's top scientists. But our quantum torpedoes exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. To their shields, our weapons simply don't exist until the moment of impact. The alien armor was also impressive but useless against human weapons. It could stop conventional projectiles and energy beams, but it could not protect against gravity manipulation or dimensional distortion. The aliens had never faced enemies who could weaponize the fundamental forces of reality. High Commander Zektai sat in his command chair and tried to understand what had gone wrong. His fleet had been reduced from 30 ships to 6 in less than 3 days. The humans had weapons that his science officers said were impossible. "Sir," his intelligence officer reported, "we've analyzed the human attacks. Their technology appears to be based on principles our empire has never encountered. They can manipulate space-time itself." "That's impossible," Zektai replied. "No species develops dimensional manipulation before achieving faster-than-light travel. The humans barely have chemical rockets." "Sir, with respect, I think the humans have been lying about their capabilities for a very long time." The truth was becoming clear to Zektai. Humanity had not been surprised by the Valkyrie invasion. They had been expecting it and preparing for it. Every weapon they used showed years or decades of development time. Commander Ji Woo Lee's cyber warfare teams had been busy during the retreat. They had completely infiltrated the alien communication systems and were now controlling what information reached the Valkyrie homeworld. "Sir," his lead hacker reported, "we've successfully intercepted all messages from the invasion fleet. We're sending false reports to their empire saying the conquest is proceeding normally." This was crucial to Earth's defense strategy. If the Valkyrie Empire knew what was really happening, they might send a fleet of hundreds of ships instead of 30. Humanity needed time to prepare for that possibility. "How long can we maintain the deception?" Jiwoo asked. "Indefinitely, sir. We've learned their communication protocols and can generate authentic-looking reports. Their empire won't know the truth until it's too late." Captain Da-Yoon Kim led her stealth squadron in hunting down the remaining alien ships. The Soul's Pride could appear anywhere in space instantly using its phase drive technology. This allowed her to attack enemies from impossible angles. "Target acquired," her sensor operator announced. "Valkyrie cruiser at bearing 270. "Take us in close," Da-Yoon ordered. "I want to look them in the eyes when we end this." The stealth ship materialized directly above the alien cruiser's bridge. Through the transparent aluminum viewports, the human crew could see Valkyrie officers running around in panic. The aliens had detected the phase drive activation but could not locate the source. "Fire plasma lance," Da-Yoon commanded. The weapon that struck the alien ship was not an explosion. It was a beam of matter heated to the temperature of a star's core. The beam cut through the cruiser's hull like a hot knife through butter, leaving a perfectly straight hole from the bridge to the engine room. The alien ship died instantly, its crew never knowing what had killed them. Dr. So-Young Park had been analyzing captured alien prisoners and made a disturbing discovery. The Velkari Empire was not what humanity had expected. These aliens were not evil conquerors driven by greed or hatred. They're farmers, she reported to President Hyunwoo Choi. The Velkari Empire is made up of species that evolved from herbivorous creatures. They've never had to fight for survival the way humans did. This explained why their military tactics were so poor and their weapons so ineffective. The Velkari had conquered other worlds by overwhelming them with superior technology, not superior fighting ability. They had never faced a species that was naturally violent and tactically brilliant. They rule their empire through fear and advanced technology, So-Young continued. But most of their subject species are peaceful creatures who surrendered rather than fight. The Velkari have never had to develop real military science. President Hyunwoo realized what this meant for Earth's future. So they're not warriors, they're bullies who have been picking on peaceful civilizations. Exactly, and now they've run into a species that spent 10,000 years learning how to kill each other more efficiently. The last alien ship was cornered near Pluto by 3 human destroyers. High Commander Zektai knew his end had come. His flagship was damaged and surrounded. There was no possibility of escape. "Sir," his communications officer said, "the humans are sending us a message." The message came in perfect Velkari language. Someone on Earth had learned to speak their tongue fluently in just 3 days. The voice was calm and professional. "High Commander Zektai, this is Admiral Tae-ho Kim of the Earth Defense Force. You are ordered to surrender your ship immediately. Your crew will be treated according to the laws of war if you comply." Zektai looked around his bridge at his surviving officers. They were all staring at him with desperate hope. These aliens had shown mercy to prisoners in other battles. Surrender might mean survival. "This is High Commander Zektai," he replied. We surrender. Please, show mercy to my crew. They were only following orders." "Understood," the human voice replied. "Prepare to be boarded. Any attempt to resist will result in the destruction of your ship." As human soldiers in powered armor teleported onto his bridge, Zektai realized the full scope of humanity's deception. These beings had technology that was centuries ahead of anything the Velkari Empire possessed. They had been pretending to be primitive while building the most advanced military force in the galaxy. The invasion that was supposed to last a few days had become a complete disaster in less than a week. The Velkari Empire's reputation for invincibility was broken forever. Worse, Earth now knew exactly where the Velkari homeworld was and how weak their defenses really were. As human ships prepared to return to Earth with their prisoners, Captain Woojin Park looked out at the stars and wondered what would happen next. Humanity had won this battle, but the war was just beginning. Somewhere out there, 17 conquered worlds waited to be freed from Velkari rule. Earth had become the most dangerous planet in the galaxy, and the galaxy was about to find out why. High Commander Zektai knelt on the floor of what used to be his own flagship. The room around him had been his command center just hours ago. Now human soldiers in powered armor stood guard, while human technicians studied his ship's technology. Everything had changed so quickly. Admiral Tae-ho Kim entered the room flanked by Captain Da-yoon Kim and General Sang-min Park. The 3 humans looked calm and professional, but Zektai could see the power they carried. These were not the primitive creatures his empire had expected to find. "High Commander," Admiral Kim said through a translation device, "I am Admiral Tae-ho Kim of Earth Defense Force. We need to talk." Zektai tried to maintain some dignity, but his voice shook when he spoke. "We surrender completely. Please, show mercy to my surviving crew members. They are good soldiers who followed orders." "That depends on what you tell us about your empire," Admiral Kim replied. "Dr. So-Young Park has some questions for you." Dr. So-Young Park stepped forward with a tablet full of information gathered from captured alien databases. Her research had revealed shocking truths about the Velkari Empire that changed everything humanity thought they knew. "Commander Zektai," she said, "we've learned about your empire's structure. 17 conquered star systems. Over 40 billion beings under Velkari control. But most of them are not Velkari, are they? Zektai's shoulders slumped. No, most are conquered species. We rule them through superior technology and military strength. But your military strength was never tested against a species that fights back effectively, So Young continued. Every world you conquered surrendered quickly rather than face destruction. Yes, Zektai admitted. Most species choose survival over resistance when faced with our weapons. Commander Jiwoo Lee presented the intelligence his teams had gathered from alien computer systems. The information painted a picture of an empire built on fear rather than actual military power. The Velkari fleet was spread thin across 17 systems, maintaining order through reputation rather than real strength. Your empire controls 40 billion people with less than 200 warships, Jiwoo said. Most of your subject species have never seen your military in action. They obey because they believe you are invincible. We were invincible, Zektai said quietly, until we met you. Dr. Min Ho Jung entered the room carrying one of his dimensional weapons. The device looked harmless, like a metal tube with some electronics attached. Zektai stared at it with obvious fear. This weapon uses principles your science doesn't understand, Minho explained. Humanity has spent 10,000 years at war with itself. Every weapon you encountered was born from our need to kill our own kind more efficiently. We have made warfare into an art form. Zektai finally understood the truth that was destroying his worldview. You are a warrior species. We tried to conquer a planet full of warriors. Yes, Admiral Kim said. And now we know about your empire. 17 star systems full of peaceful species forced to serve as slaves. That ends now. President Hyunwoo Choi appeared on a large screen, broadcasting from Earth. Behind him, the flags of every human nation flew proudly. His words were translated into every language spoken in the Velkari Empire. Citizens of the galaxy, he began, I am President Hyunwoo Choi of Earth. Today, humanity learned that we are not alone in the universe. We also learned that the galaxy is ruled by an empire built on conquest and slavery. The broadcast was being transmitted on frequencies that would reach every world in Velkari space. Billions of beings across 17 star systems would hear humanity's message. The Velkari came to Earth expecting to find another peaceful species to enslave, Hyunwoo continued. Instead, they found warriors. Their invasion fleet has been destroyed. Their military reputation is broken forever. On worlds throughout the Empire, Velkari administrators watched the broadcast in horror. The subject species they ruled began to realize that their masters were not invincible after all. To the conquered peoples of the galaxy, President Choi said, we offer you a choice. Help us free your worlds from Velkari rule and earn your place in a new galactic order based on freedom rather than fear, or continue to serve an empire that cannot protect you from us. High Commander Zektai heard his empire crumbling with every word. Rebellions would begin within days. The careful balance of fear that held 40 billion beings in slavery was collapsing. What do you want from us? He asked Admiral Kim. We want the locations of all Velkari military bases, Admiral Kim replied. We want the access codes to your communication networks. We want complete information about every world in your empire. And if I refuse? Captain Dayun Kim stepped forward. Then we will take that information from your computers and leave your crew to die in space. Your choice. Zektai looked around at his surviving officers. They were all staring at him with desperate eyes. These aliens had shown mercy to prisoners who cooperated, but they had also shown what happened to enemies who resisted. I will give you everything, he said quietly. The Empire is finished anyway. You have destroyed us in less than a week. Captain Woojin Park received new orders as his destroyer prepared to return to Earth. Instead of going home, he would lead a task force to the nearest Velkari-controlled system. His mission was to liberate the conquered species and capture any Velkari administrators who tried to resist. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're receiving surrender messages from Velkari bases throughout their empire. Most of their commanders are abandoning their posts rather than fight us. This was exactly what humanity had hoped for. The Velkari military was designed to control peaceful populations, not fight determined enemies. When faced with real opposition, they collapsed like a house of cards. Dr. So-Young Park interviewed more alien prisoners and learned the full scope of what humanity had stumbled into. The Velkari Empire controlled worlds with resources that could supply Earth's needs for thousands of years, technologies that could advance human civilization by centuries, and most importantly, billions of potential allies who had been waiting for someone to free them. The irony is incredible, she explained to Admiral Kim. The Velkari invaded us because they thought we were weak, but by doing so, they revealed their own weakness to the one species in the galaxy capable of exploiting it. President Hyun-Woo Choi made one final broadcast as the first human ships prepared to leave for Velkari space. This message was directed at Earth's people, who were still processing the rapid changes their world had experienced. "My fellow humans," he said, "1 week ago, we thought we were alone in the universe. Today, we know we are part of a galaxy, full of life. Most of that life has been enslaved by the Velkari Empire for generations." He paused and looked directly into the camera. "We did not choose this responsibility, but we will not abandon it. Humanity will liberate every enslaved world in Velkari space. We will build a new galactic civilization based on freedom, cooperation, and mutual respect." As human ships jumped to faster-than-light speed, using captured Velkari technology, Earth entered a new age. The age of human expansion into the galaxy had begun, not as conquerors, but as liberators. High Commander Zekatai sat in his cell aboard the human ship and thought about what his species had lost. The Velkari had ruled the galaxy for 300 years. Now their empire was gone, destroyed by aliens they had fatally underestimated. "We should have left them alone," he said to his guard. The human soldier nodded. "Yes, you should have. But you didn't, and now everyone in the galaxy will be free because of your mistake." The aliens who had declared war seeking easy conquest had instead awakened sleeping giants who would reshape the very fabric of galactic civilization. In trying to enslave humanity, the Velkari had freed every enslaved species in the galaxy. Within 6 months, the last Velkari administrator had surrendered. Within a year, 40 billion beings across 17 star systems had joined the new Galactic Federation, with Earth as its founding member. The galaxy would never be the same, and it all started because one empire made the mistake of thinking humans were weak.